July 18th, 2019. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 186 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So, Mike, you never know when you're going to just stumble on an advantage play.
Okay.
Sometimes you're not even looking for one, and one just lands in your lap.
My lap? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be nice if that happened.
Well, John B. contacted us about a play that happened in Baltimore. We'll just say Baltimore. We won't get more specific than that. Okay. It's just Baltimore.
It's somewhere in the Baltimore area.
And he was playing face-up Pai Gow poker. Right? That's the game where you get to see all of the dealer's cards before you set your hand.
Correct.
So sometimes you may set your hand in an unconventional way just to...
Hoping to get a push.
Yeah, a push or a win instead of a push
right.
instead of a loss, that kind of thing. Now, those familiar with Pai Gow poker know that one of the rules of the game is that your 5-card hand has to be higher than your 2-card hand.
As in any Pai Gow game.
Yeah, you want to make them both as high as possible, but you have to follow that rule. The 5-card hand has to be higher than the 2-card hand. Well, John was playing at this game, and he had a hand that was basically a losing hand. But the dealer encouraged him to play the single pair that he had in the 2-card hand, leaving him with just a high card in the 5-card hand.
Well, how could that be?
That's a foul.
Yes.
That's against the rules.
Right.
But apparently this dealer just thought, well, however, once you see what the dealer has, once you see what the cards are,
right.
set your hand however you can
to get a push
or you win.
Right.
So this dealer was allowing players to foul their hands in order to result in a better result.
Now, does this constitute an advantage play or does this constitute just a stupid dealer?
What's the difference?
Yeah, I guess if you want to call it an advantage play, I guess it is. Taking advantage of the stupidity of the dealer.
Now, we heard about this quite a while ago, and we haven't brought it up on the show, obviously, because we wanted the play to exist as long as it could, and the play may still be in existence. John wasn't actually sure that it was dead yet. So, be aware of this.
Somebody had to catch that. I mean, don't you think eventually some pit boss would be standing there thinking, wait a minute.
It might be worth trying. Foul your hand, right? See if they, and if they, you fouled you. Oh, please call the pit over so that, I can reset my hand. Sorry, I fouled it. And they'd probably let you, because that's the thing about face-up Pai Gow poker. All you have to do is look at the player's hand,
right.
And you know what the result is, right? You can determine what is the best way to play it.
Sure.
So there you go. Watch for those advantage plays. You never know when they're going to happen. And, even Eric Rosenthal was talking on a recent episode of The Better Life that right now in Massachusetts, the Encore opened, there. Right. And it took away a lot of dealers from MGM Springfield. So MGM Springfield had to bring in a lot of very new dealers.
Right.
And a lot of them, apparently don't know what they're doing. So
I can't tell you how many times that has helped us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, more than anyone how rookie dealers or I hate to say this, but incompetent dealers have helped us. And it's amazing to me. How many times have I told you this in the car? It boggles my mind that a casino would let anybody go out on the floor and deal a game and not be 100% perfect at it.
After a recent loss here at Harrah's, Dr. Mike really went off on some of the dealers. I was trying to rein him in a little bit, saying, well, they're trying and they're being nice, but I understand what he's saying. Some of these dealers should not be on the floor.
Well, when you can't cut chips.
Right. That's such a basic thing.
It's such a basic thing. You've got to learn that right off the bat. And when you don't know the payouts, how does the casino management let that happen? Because that only hurts them. And they're not, and nobody runs a business. I wouldn't have an employee who gave away stuff or did stuff wrong, right?
Yeah.
And if I did, I'd say, we need to train this person more. Obviously, they haven't been trained. Let's put them through some training and get other people in here and I understand that in some situations, they just don't have enough employees.
Sure.
So they're putting anybody out there, they can. But boy, if you're going to do that, you better have the other employees who are better trained, or the pit people watching them.
Mm-hmm. Right. They're kind of shadowing them.
That doesn't happen a lot either,
no,
right?
No, it's certainly not at craps. You will see it at some of the other table games, right? We have seen that where a dealer's just standing behind another one, 3-card poker, even blackjack, that kind of thing.
Right. And at the cage, that was my point the other night. I was telling you, at the cage, when there's a new person at the cage, I mean, they stand over their shoulder and watch them because, they don't want to have them make $100 mistake or anything, right? Yeah. So they watch them like crazy. But at the craps table, no, just send them out there.
And of course, there are some people who just will never get it. Right. I mean, we have seen dealers who started out very green, but then, now they know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'm going to tell you after the podcast about one who recently left.
Oh, okay.
But she started off very green. I remember quite distinctly thinking, oh my God. And she got very good. Right. Extremely good.
And then there are others who have been there a while and it's like, oh my gosh, I mean, isn't this what you do every day?
You've been here 5 months and you still don't get it? Yeah. I mean, and that's a management problem, honestly, because the management needs to recognize that and say, okay, maybe this isn't a good fit for this person. Yeah. We need to find something they can do that fits them.
Yeah. So to wrap this all up, remember to try to take advantage of these really bad dealers. Well, one thing we talk about on the show quite a bit is tipping. Tip your dealer. We're big proponents of tipping. But listener Jeff wrote to us and said, what about when it comes to tipping for hand pays, when you win a big hand pay at a slot machine, or tipping the cashier, when you're cashing out? And that is really something we have not talked about much on the show.
No, and it's a weird situation because the person paying you for the hand pay didn't really do anything.
Right.
Yes. Except come and pay you. And the cashier, the same thing. I mean, they're paying you now and maybe you had a win and the next person they're paying them and, maybe they had a loss or, maybe they're cashing out for $30. So...
Well, but they are doing something. They're doing their job just like dealers are doing their job.
Right. I mean, it comes down, you got to tip everybody.
Well, because
then there's the valet. There's the people in the gift shop, which you've seen. I always tip in the gift shop. Right. Because I'm using points, so I tip them in the gift shop. And they're always appreciative. Yeah. There's the restaurant. What about the bathroom attendants?
Well, now, luckily...
I've tipped the bathroom attendants sometimes.
Okay, but
because they hand me a towel or something.
Okay, right. What about just like the janitors that are just cleaning up the bathroom?
Yeah, I mean, I have tipped janitors before out at Harrah's RingCon, but not all the time. Yeah. I mean, it's most of the time, it's just when I think, this guy looks like he's working hard. I'll give him... But, it comes down to like, are you going to tip everybody or just a few people?
Well, here's my thought. Now, we don't play a lot of slots, so we don't get a lot of hand pays. I haven't had the opportunity to tip, really.
I've only had one or two.
I would think, say I was playing quarter video poker and I won $1,000 on a royal flush. Right. I'd probably tip $20.
Yeah, right.
Because really they're not doing that much work and just suddenly $20. Yeah. I don't know what they're making an hour if it's minimum wage like, the dealers or whatever. But
probably they may be pooling their tips and a lot of places do that. Some places don't.
Right. So. And if it were a $4,000, say I was playing dollars and I won a $4,000 royal flush, maybe 40 or 50.
Yeah,
something
or
like that.
Yeah, it's 4,000. You might give them 100,
sure. But if, in that case, though, you're also getting a W-2G.
Right. So you're paying some taxes. Yeah.
And then as far as the cashier goes, you tip a lot more at the cashier than I do. But my feeling is that if you've had a nice win, maybe tip them kind of the extra dollars that you're getting out of it, right? You're cashing out for $956. Well, maybe give them the $6, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, I gave them 66 the other night.
Really?
Yeah, when I cashed out because it was a big cash out.
It was a big win.
It was a big win and a big cash out, and it was XX $1,000 and 66. So I gave them the 66.
I don't think there's any universal answer. That's kind of our feeling, but I imagine they talk about it on another podcast too. People have very different opinions about how much you should tip. And let's say, what if you had a huge jackpot win? Yeah. At a slot machine, $500,000 or something. Well, I don't know. In that point, do you give $100 to everybody who's kind of helped you out? Do you do more than that? Again, you've won a lot, but they're not doing all that much more.
Right. They're not doing a lot. Well, what it turns out is it's a personal decision.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like me. When I go to the gift shop and I use my points and I buy $200 of crap, I feel like I give them $5 because I thought, because
you're not spending any real money.
I'm not spending any real money. So, and they're happy to get $5, right?
Well, of course. Well, they don't get tipped that often.
No, and it's like $5 free bucks. Yeah, exactly. So, they're always very happy. And it creates a little bit of good karma. If you believe in karma, it creates good karma. It creates happiness in the world.
Yeah, and that's good.
Too, and that's good. You know, it's nice if everyone's happy. And I think people like at the food truck, when I get my free food, I always give them $5.
So everybody knows what we're talking about. They've got this faux food truck at Harrah, Southern California. It looks like a food truck, but it's actually built in, as part of a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant there. Yeah.
So we go there and we get, we use our points and get free stuff. And I always give them $5. And I think, they're probably thinking great. And, makes them feel better. Right. And everyone, you get a good worker who feels better, they treat you better. And they're always very nice to us.
Yes.
Because they know probably tips coming, right?
Yeah, that's right. Good for you, Mike, spreading the love.
Yeah,
as usual.
You've got to do it.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline segment. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is one of many calls from someone named Adam.
Many calls.
Well, like 3.
Okay, that is a lot.
They're all different Adams.
Oh,
right?
okay.
That's what I'm saying. They're all different.
Oh, it's not the
Adams.
same Adam.
All right.
Hey guys, it's Adam from Connecticut. Been a little while since I called. I took about 2 months hiatus from any type of gambling. I know you guys would be probably going through withdrawals if that was you, but I have to say it was actually kind of refreshing. Just what I needed to kind of reinvigorate myself. So tonight I went down to Mohegan Sun. I bought into a $5 craps table with $300. I played very conservatively. I was actually playing an iron cross system, which I've never played before. It was fun. I was really just looking to try to, hit that big fire bet at some point, which didn't end up happening. I ended up losing a little bit on the iron cross and then moved over to Spanish 21. I just want to give shout out to Jeremy at Mohegan Sun, Spanish 21 dealer. He was one of the best dealers of any game at any casino I've ever been to. He was personable. He was making everybody laugh. And you could tell that he really enjoyed doing what he was doing. It was an experienced player at the table, and he was great with helping her out, making the bets, and making the right moves according to the strategy on Wizard of Odds. So big props to Jeremy. I'll definitely be back. Probably not as often as I was, but the 2-month break away from the casino was exactly what I needed to find my enjoyment in the games again. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Sometimes you have to take a break.
Yes.
And it helps you mentally more than anything else. It certainly helps your pocketbook, but yeah.
Well, and then when you do go, you're anxious to go.
Right. It's maybe a little bit more fun.
Yeah, right. It creates a little more excitement. It's like when you haven't seen a family member for a while and then you're going to see them again. It's like you're excited to see them.
I don't know about that.
Well,
that's maybe not the best example.
Family members. Good example. Thanks for the call, by the way, David.
Now, I know I've talked about this before. Your dad went with us to the casino this last week. It hasn't been in a while. You actually bought a new battery for his scooter, which was a big problem last time we went. So he was scooting around.
He was able to scoot around all over the place.
But I know we've talked about it. They don't have Spanish 21 at Harrah's, do they?
No,
and he loves that.
He loves that.
He would sit there the whole time if they did.
We need to take him maybe to one of the other. But I think Verona has it.
Yeah, I think they do too. So we should head out that way.
Yeah, one of these days.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey guys, it's Cody from Alabama. Just going to give a quick trip report and then another story at the end. By the way, happy 4th of July to you guys. On Monday of this week, my wife and I traveled over to Tunica to play for a night, just to kind of get away in the midsummer break. So we stayed at Sam's Town, which I'll get back to in a minute, but we prefer to play at Horseshoe and Gold Strike there, which is about 5 miles away. So anyway, we go over to Horseshoe to play craps and get in on a table. And it just seemed like every time it was my turn to be the shooter, I just could not get anything going. I mean, 3 or 4 rolls and I was 7 out. Just very, very poor performance by myself to the point where I was about to just pass the next time that my turn came around. Well, the man immediately before me that rolled probably had about a 15 to 20 minute roll. And then finally when it came back to me, I decided I would shoot this time and see how it went. And it was the best roll I've ever had. I had it between 30 and 35 minutes. Was only all tall, all small, and on the come out rolled the 2, 3, and 11. So, some of the harder numbers to get, got those out of the way. Got all the way up to where the only number left I had to get was the 12. I had $1 on each space, but I noticed someone at the table had a $25 bet on the make 'em all. About 7 or 8 rolls later, it finally came. I rolled the 12, and, you know, a guy made $3,000 on the rolls. Anyway, the crap session was great. The crew over there was great. Can't recommend them enough. But back to Sam's Town, they give great comps. The hotel staff is nice. The restaurant staff is nice. Slot machine attendant's great. But the craps crew there is the worst and most unfun to play with of anywhere in the country that I've ever been. And this is 3 or 4 straight trips that I've attempted to play for a little bit. And just anything that they can do to suck the life out of the game, they do. And around 11 o'clock, there were, I think, 4 people on the table, including myself. They get on to you for everything. So anyway, just cannot believe how bad of an experience playing craps there is when everything else is enjoyable. But anyway, enjoy the show. Again, happy 4th.
Cody, your experience at Sam's Town sounds like the experience we have when we go to Verona, what we just talked about. Love the property. We love everything about it. You know, the people, the restaurants, the machines. Close. You know, they've got great video poker tape, except the craps crew.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, we'll go back every once in a while just to give them another chance, but. Yeah, that's a big reason we don't go there.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know why it would be at the craps table.
I don't either. You know. Yeah, because the dealers at the other tables are great. It's hard to say.
Well, one thing I've had a problem with at Verona is there'll be 3 craps dealers and they're all talking about their private stuff. Mm-hmm. They're talking about personal stuff, like, you know, doesn't even concern the casino. Just like they're just totally disinterested if you're there.
Yeah.
And, you know, instead of like making bets, and then when they make mistakes, it gets frustrating. So that's for me, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Thanks again, David, for the call.
All right, let's hear from our second Adam.
Hey, guys. It's Adam from Kansas. Just wanted to call and let you know about a trip I just took to New Orleans. I went to the Harrah's in New Orleans. You guys would have loved it. I think they had 10 different craps tables, and 6 of them were open when I was there. The one thing I didn't love is it was a Wednesday afternoon, and 5 of the tables had no one on them, yet they were all $15 or $25 each. They all had 10 times odds, and they had the all tall, small, and make them all. Good trip overall. Made some money, so can't complain. Just wish the stakes would have been a little lower on the craps table. They do offer free drinks in New Orleans on the tables, so maybe if we ever see you there, we can share a whale drink. All right, thanks, guys.
Sounds good. I think Gamblepalooza this year is now guaranteed to be in New Orleans and Biloxi.
Free drinks on the tables. That should settle it, right? Hey, I wonder how they're doing down there in Mississippi and New Orleans. And
just after the latest hurricane?
The latest, I guess tropical storm.
Well, it was a hurricane for a while, I think.
Yeah,
right?
It started off as a hurricane and then became a tropical storm. But I saw a lot of flooding on the news. So I wonder. I hope all the casinos
everybody's doing
made
okay.
it. Yeah. Thanks again for the call, David.
All right, let's hear from Jana, who had a weird encounter.
Hey guys, it's Jana from Houston. I was listening to one of your past episodes, and it was talking about a guy that had kind of a scam going, and it reminded me of something that happened back on our last trip in April. We were staying at Fort Queens, and I had gotten up early and gone downstairs, and I was waiting on my husband to come down, and so I just sat down at the Bubbles Crap machine, and I wasn't playing. I just ordered a coffee, and I was sitting there drinking my coffee, waiting on him, and this guy sits down, and he starts up a conversation with me, and, I mean, we're sitting there talking, and my spidey senses didn't go off automatically until he said something really weird, like, so how do you like being single? And I was like, I'm not single, and showed him my ring, and I said, I'm sitting here waiting on my husband to come down right now. He just texted me and said he was on his way. And he said, oh, okay. And then he sits there talking a little bit more, and he said, so you want to go for a walk or something? And I'm like, no, I don't want to go for a walk. And I said, I've got to go to the bathroom. So I got up and left, went back up to the room. I didn't go to the security desk, and I should have. But I went upstairs and told my husband about it, and we came back down, and the guy was gone. Well, the next day, same time about, I started to just go out the casino, and the guy is asleep, dead asleep, on the bubble craps machine. So I walk over to the security desk, and I tell them, and they said, yeah, he's already been ejected once. we're going to have to go shoo him out. And I proceeded to tell him what happened the day before. And she said, oh, ma'am, anytime something like that happens, please let us know, because the safety of our patrons is first and foremost. Something could have horribly gone wrong. And so my point is, if you are out walking around and something like that happens, or if you're in a casino, please let security know, because they obviously knew about this guy and he was trespassing and he could have been very dangerous. Anyway, y'all have a great day. I look forward to hopefully being there in October. Y'all have a wonderful time gambling once a week, and just think of us poor saps who don't get to do that. Y'all take care.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks, Jana.
Yeah, that guy ended up in Atlantic City on our last trip.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was trespassed, and then the security had to come over, and then he...
It's funny how that happens, how you get people like that. I don't, it's sad.
Sure, yeah.
Because he's probably got some problems, and he may be homeless. Who knows? But it's sad to see people like that. But yeah, you have to be careful.
Yeah. At least a couple times I have gone to security and said, this guy is making so many prop bets on the come out roll that no matter what comes up, he's going to lose. There's no combination that's going to result. It's so many prop bets. And then I just leave it to them. My hands are clean at that point.
It's funny because they never do anything. and then he wins. And thanks again for the call, David.
All right, next call is from Neil. It sounds like he was calling from a car, so the audio is a little rough.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Neil Ritchie from Riverside, your neck of the woods. Just calling in for the first time. We do a little road trip with a couple families every 4th of July roundabout there, and we were just coming home from Hume Lake back to Riverside. And one of our traditions is we always stop and find a casino along the way. And we stumbled upon the Aviation Casino that I believe is on Highway 99. This cool little casino is aviation thing because it's actually out on a municipal airport. It's basically a sports bar that has those certain types of gaming opportunities where it's obviously just tables, but they have the bakers there and that kind of thing. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it was cool. They had a whole poker room, and then they had a blackjack table, 6 to 5, $5 minimum, and then they had a 3-card poker table, $5 minimum. And so I played at the blackjack table, just a couple hands, ran a 20 through and doubled up instantly, just to, say that we did. And as I was leaving, they were opening a Spanish 21 table, and I said, oh, cool. And then I saw that their minimum was $5. I don't know where you can find a $5 Spanish 21, but kids were in the car, and it was just a pit stop, so we didn't spend too much time. Put it down, doubled up instantly. So in about the span of 35 minutes, we went from 20 at risk to 66, because I always get a dollar chip from the casinos I visit. You guys do amazing things. Keep at it. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for the report, Neil. This Aviator, because I think he called it Aviation Casino, but it's right. Aviator Casino. It's in Delano, California. Just a small little casino. It's actually technically a card room, which means it's not a tribal casino, and the house cannot bank.
Yeah, it's probably grandfathered in.
Yeah, it could be, right.
Old rules.
So if you're playing a table game like blackjack or like Spanish 21, then another player has to act as bank, and the way the casino makes the money is by charging an ante or a fee, sometimes from all players, sometimes only from the banks. It sounds like maybe that was the case here. So
yeah. And you might not even know.
You might not even realize it.
That it's being banked by somebody, because sometimes they're not even there.
Yeah, right. They've got these syndicates too, or just here's the money to use to pay off people. Yeah. Yep.
Well, David, that's another great call.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of little casinos around California.
Oh, I know. There are so many little ones like that.
Yeah, when you go
you
up
don't realize
395 to the Lake Tahoe and stuff, you pass 2 or 3 of them, and they just look like hole in the wall.
Yeah, just
places.
Little things, right? Yeah, you don't even realize you're coming up on one until you're right there.
Right, and then all of a sudden, casino.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hi, this is Jeff from Los Angeles. Just wanted to give you a trip update. I went to Vegas end of June, and I stayed at the Golden Nugget. I don't like rolling craps at the Golden Nugget, so I always go over to the D or Four Queens, and I even like Binion's. somebody on your podcast last week had a story about a roll he had and the dice landing in a strange place. Well, one time when I was at the D, I rolled and I throw the dice off the table a lot accidentally. And if you know the D, there's like a bar right by the entrance, so there's always a parade of people walking between that bar and the crap table. And the dice went off the table. I yelled, same die, and they were looking around the bar and they couldn't find it. And the box man ran out, stopped a lady from walking out of the casino, poor girl, asked to see if he could look inside her purse, and she opened it up, and sure enough, the die was in there. So I actually hit a moving target and got a die in somebody's purse who was walking out of the casino. So that's my story for an incredible die roll. But I was going to ask you, if you go to the D, the crap tables there are long. I mean, they're at least 15, 18 feet long. And if I roll over at 4 queens, it's like 7 or 8 feet long. And I tend to prefer the shorter tables. But on the longer tables, that's the ones I tend to throw the dice off the table a lot more. And I don't throw it hard or high, but just however I do it, right where it lands, it just goes up over the top of the table. I asked the dealer what the surface was. Was it slate or anything? And they didn't know. Do you guys have any knowledge of this stuff? Does the texture of the table or the surface change anything? Some things are more springy than others. And is there any kind of regulation at Vegas for how large the tables should be? Thanks for the podcast. Keep it up, guys. Bye.
We don't know what the specific rules and regulations are as far as the length of craps tables and what they're made of, that kind of thing. But they're definitely made from different materials, and some tables are way more bouncy than others.
Right, but there's always a sweet spot. On those long tables, you're trying to hit the back wall. Mm-hmm. And if you get close to the wall, it hits the wall and comes back.
Right.
But if there's that sweet spot, if you hit that spot and then they bounce up, they go right over the wall.
And I think that's what's happening in Jeff's case. He's saying that, how come I'm throwing the dice off the table on the longer ones more?
Right.
It's because on the shorter ones, he's hitting very close to the wall, so it can't bounce up.
The same length.
Yeah, right.
It just hits the wall and bounces back.
But on the longer tables, it's got room to go up and over.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you hit that sweet spot, it goes up and over. You land short of that sweet spot, they don't make it over, and you land past it, they hit the wall and bounce back.
Yeah.
But it's always that spot. And that'll happen to me, and then I realize, okay, I got to throw them a little further or a little shorter.
Yeah. But definitely different tables will have different elasticity as far as
I think it has to do with the padding. Remember when we watched them change the tables at Harrah's? Mm-hmm. They got new craps felts. Mm-hmm, right. And we watched somebody actually come out, like a seamstress lady did it.
Yeah.
And, it's the amount of padding they put underneath.
Sure.
It. Sometimes there's a lot, and that probably absorbs it, and they don't go. And sometimes there's like nothing.
Oh, I know. I've felt somewhere. Yeah, it feels like there's wood right underneath it.
It's just felt right on wood, and so it hits it and bounces, as opposed to when they put some padding in there where you've been on those ones where it's real cushy. Mm-hmm. I mean, those don't go off. They just kind of die.
They die, yep.
So David brings up a good point, because every table can be different. You got to get used to.
Yep, that's true. We'll hear from Jeff again later in the show. All right, next up is Wally.
Yeah, hey guys, this is Wally from AZ. Just wanted to tell you guys a quick story. I was in Vegas a couple weeks back playing a blackjack table, doing pretty well, and ended up getting a good hand that I needed to double down on. So I broke down a $1,000 chip, which the dealer ended up giving me 4 purples back for $2,000. I realized that she made that mistake, but didn't say anything, just figured it was a good deed that I got a little extra money out of it. Played a little bit further, had to break down another $1,000 chip, and ended up getting 4 more. And didn't say anything, but kept him going. And probably about 10 minutes later, I was surrounded by security and ended up getting pulled into the back room, and they showed me the video of me being overpaid and had to pay it back, which I did because I realized I was overpaid on it. But just wanted to be curious, what was the most you guys have been overpaid on, and what would you have done in that same situation? And also just, I guess, realize when you are overpaid, if it's a little bit higher than normal, then maybe you should mention it if you don't want any confrontation. Appreciate your guys' show. Love what you guys are doing. You all have a good one. Thanks. Bye.
This story, it's sort of unbelievable to me. I assume Wally was in the high limit room.
Well, yeah, David, just go back to the beginning of this podcast. What were we talking about? Bad dealers.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I mean, but that's crazy bad.
But see, here's the thing. In the case of these high denomination chips, I would think that the dealer would have to say changing 1,000,
right?
And the pit would come over and watch her do
exactly what happens at the craps table. Even a 500. When I come to the table with a bunch of 500 chips, I put one down and I want change to make some bets. I give it in. They always say changing 500. The pit comes over and they cut out 500 in green and then make my bets.
And they look. And then being back roomed for this, I don't understand why somebody couldn't have just come up to the table and said, "Oh, sir, the dealer gave you too much," which Wally obviously knew had happened.
Well, maybe they wanted to show him the film just to make him sweat a little.
But all right, I guess.
I mean, it sounds like they're just trying to all right, we're going to give this guy a clue that he didn't do anything wrong.
No, I mean, depending on what what you think is right and wrong when it comes to that situation.
You could have just say, "Well, God, I didn't even think about it," but you're right.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, and he asked, "What would we do?" And we say that generally, when the dealer makes a mistake, we don't call attention to it. I might have, though, in this case, because we're talking about these high denominations,
the amount,
and they're going to draw attention.
Usually when it's a mistake in our favor, it's $20, a quarter. They pay you a quarter and it's supposed to be a red chip, something like that. So we're talking about $20, and I know that that's coming back to them anyway.
Yeah.
Now, if I give them 1,000, they give me 2,000 change. I'm probably going to say something.
Yeah. Now, the biggest overpayment that I ever got actually happened on a color up, and I didn't realize it until I got to the cashier. I colored up, and I had, it was like $535. And they inadvertently gave me a $1,000 chip instead of a $500 chip.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It was at Mirage years ago, and I didn't realize it till I was already up at the cashier. And they were saying, "Oh, okay, $1,035." I'm looking, what?
Yeah,
so that's the biggest mistake I've had.
I don't think those $1,000 chips were bigger than the 500
at that
time.
And in some casinos, they still aren't. Now here at Harrah, Southern California, they're actually different sizes,
right?
So they really stick out.
They really stick out because they're much bigger. They don't even look right in the rail, so you can't make that mistake. Although yesterday out there, I did see somebody color up. They had a lot of chips and they put it all out there and then they added it up and the pit guy got 500 more than he was supposed to. And then the player is looking at it and before he could say anything, the dealer said, no, it's not, 4,200. It's 38 or whatever. It was something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, so do you know of a big mistake like that?
No, my mistakes have always been 100 or less.
Okay.
Maybe
just on the table.
On the table. Yeah. That I can think of.
Yeah.
And it's usually because it's some come out and I've got like a gazillion.
You've got so many prop bets. Yeah. That they've called security.
Some douchebag has gone up to security and complained about.
Yeah.
And then they get all confused about what to pay and everything. That's usually when it happens. Yeah. Thanks, David, for your call.
All right, let's hear from our buddy Taylor.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Taylor from New Mexico. Here's an update on Terra's Royal Flush. We just came back from Vegas for 3 nights. So before the trip, I told Tara, based on the number of hands we've played since my last Royal last November, there's a high likelihood that one of us will hit a Royal this trip.
Yeah, that's good math.
And when I say we, I meant really me.
Good thing
but I
he's
really
not a
wish
math
it
professor.
would be Tara. So we were playing, and the second night, again, I hit one. So this is my 6th World in 5 years, and I'll tell you what the key to hitting a Royal, you just gotta play a lot of hands.
Huh.
So a Royal has 1 in 40,000 hands odds. So if 80,000 hands is 2 standard deviations, 120 is 3 standard deviations. If you just play around 100,000 hands, you'll hit one. So when I see on Facebook groups, people say, "Oh, I've been playing for 20 years and never hit one." If I have to guess, they play like 1,000 hands 4 or 5 times a year. Then 20 years, it will be about 80 to 100,000 hands, which wouldn't be that abnormal. So Royal Flush, play 100,000 hands, you'll hit one. You'll hit one by 150,000 hands for sure. Or play craps like Dr. Mike does. All right, guys. We'll see you at Summit, I think. Thanks for your podcast. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right,
thanks for all the good information, Dr. David.
Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to shoot for 150,000 hands of video poker? Or are you just going to play craps like Taylor says?
I played 150,000 hands of video poker?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No,
either.
you haven't.
So Are
you going to shoot for it?
Well, no, because I feel comfortable. I'm not due for it yet.
Oh, you're not. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
I'm not due. Now, when I get over 150,000 hands.
Yeah, when you're close to that 150, you're going to be playing a lot because it's due.
It's due. I'm going to up my bet. See, he's hit on a thing here. Play quarters until you get to 149,000 hands, and then all of a sudden I'm going to be playing $5 a hand.
There you go. Good. Smart gambling. A lot of good advice on the show this week, people. All right, next call.
Hey guys, Tom from Cary, North Carolina. Just calling with a quick report from Lola's Underground in London, part of the Hippodrome Casino. It'll be the third time I've played at this particular casino. And not a whole lot to add from previous reports. It was a Friday night. The minimum bet's £10. One thing that changed from my last visit, there's actually only one table left in Lola's. They had two previously. However, the one table, good dealers, fairly active crowd, a lot of newbies, and a lot of prop bettors. One thing I noticed this trip that I'd never seen before is that the dealers will pass the dice and whatever they were rolled previously, which actually I found kind of annoying. So if you rolled a 7 or a 3, that's exactly how they present the dice back to you. Otherwise, it was an okay trip. Played for about an hour and a half. Ended up losing about 100 pounds from my 400-pound buy-in, so could have been worse. But I had a good time, and definitely if you're in London, strongly recommended. Anyway, thanks. Keep up the great work. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Tom. It's interesting that he's talking about the way that they would send the dice to the shooter, because on a recent episode of The Better Life, Tim was saying he was playing with a player who was insisting that they did that the dealers would push them exactly what he had rolled before. I don't think they were complying. But he was saying, send them to me just like street craps. Right. I want them sent to me the exact way that I rolled them. So
why? What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, I don't know. Like anything else, right? It's just,
Now, at Harrah, Southern California, because of the cards, a lot of times when there have been like some discrepancy, like the rolls like 1-6, and someone sees like 1-5.
Okay.
And, they say, no, it was 1-5. And the stick person has already grabbed the dice and slid them and messed them up. Mm-hmm. It would be nice if they never did that, if they always slid them back
just kept them the same. Mm-hmm.
Then you can say, no, see here, it was 1-6.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not just at Harrah's where he got cards, but just in Las Vegas.
Right.
What do you mean he rolled a 7? It was a 6.
Yeah, because
I saw it.
Sometimes it's hard to see when you're on the other side of the table, especially some Vegas casinos where the lighting is poor.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
We've
you
been
can't
to
see when they
somewhere
go in the
it's so
corner.
dark, like the corner there is like a dark spot.
Yeah.
And you're on the other side, and some of us who are of advanced age, we cannot see the 5 and the 6.
I agree. The stick person should kind of slowly bring not like whip them or swing them.
But sometimes they grab them and mess them all up, and it's like, you don't want to stop the game and go to the camera for that.
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, David brings up a good point. You know what? Also, I love hearing Lola's Underground at the Hippodrome.
Okay. You just like the way that rolls off your tongue?
It just rolls off. So Lola's Underground at the Hippodrome.
I don't know that it's the Hippodrome, but
I'm going to call it the Hippodrome.
All right. Lola's Underground at the Hippodrome.
You know what comes to my mind immediately? I'm on the Jungle Cruise. And I'm looking at when those hippos attack, and the guy on the cruise is Barry Manilow. And he's just singing Lola. It just comes to my mind, so I love hearing that.
Oh, thank goodness there's another call coming.
Hey, guys. This is Rob from New Jersey. I like your podcast. I have a quick story to tell you guys. I'm a teacher, and when I first started teaching, I started going to the teachers' convention down at, I was staying at Bally's. I was playing roulette. This is before I discovered the game is craps. But I went down, I started the convention about a little over $100, $150, and I walked away a little over $2,000. And that's even after I take out money for my meals and stuff. Anyway, during one of the sessions, the pit boss came up to me and asked me if I had a player's card. I said no. And then he gave me information, I filled it out, and he came back with the second from highest tier. I think it was like Diamond or Platinum. And I got excited. And he said, calm down. It's gold. Like, if you swipe the card, it comes up gold. He told me he ran out of really all the other cards because they're switching the cards to different picture or layout. So anyway, went on to the weekend, and I'm leaving the parking lot, and the guy who does the parking says, "Do I have a player's card?" So yeah, and I show him my card, and he saw it was Diamond or Platinum, he let me go without paying. I realized that a lot of places in the Valley, some Caesars, just have to show my card. I don't have to swipe it or anything. I was taking advantage of this, and then went back during the summer, and same thing happened. Just show the card, got to the lounges, free parking, all that stuff. So I thought you might like to hear that story. Also, I'm going to Harrah, so it was like a flash sale for 4th of July, a weekday, Tuesday to Wednesday night, $35. So my wife and I were going on our first overnight trip since we had the girls. I have a 4-year-old and 2-year-old. And I'm telling you, when I get into the hotel room, like I said before, I'm going to pick up my beautiful wife, throw her in the bed, and take a nap. Oh, my God. So I'll let you guys know how the overnight goes. Let you guys know how the nap was and how I did on craps. I'm going to try a new tipping system, see if the dealers like it or not. All right. Love the show. Keep up everything. Bye.
All right. We will hear from Rob later, see how that nap turned out.
Yeah, I'll tell you something, David. I'm surprised more people don't do that.
Do what?
Just get a card. I mean, you could get any card, right? I mean, from a friend. Like I could give you, let's say you were a gold member. I could give you one of my 7-star cards because they give them to you. You just go up and
get an extra, right?
But,
just to have,
and you can't use that to like book a room or anything,
right? Or to pay for something, right?
But Starbucks. You get up in the morning, you go down to Starbucks, there's this huge line. And I don't care what Caesar's property is, there's this huge line at Starbucks. You have that, 7-star card.
You just flash that. Just go right you don't pay with it, but you flash it.
Yeah, you just go right up to the front if you're going to pay cash anyway. If you're a gold member, you're probably paying cash anyway, right?
Yeah.
And you just go up to the front. No, I'm a 7-star.
That's an advantage play.
That's an advantage play.
How ethical is it? I don't know. But see, in this case, Rob was actually given the card.
Yeah, he was forced into it. He had no choice.
Yeah, that's right. So,
but I'm serious. I've often thought of that. I'm surprised that people just don't do that more often.
Well, it would be certainly an easy enough thing to do. All you would have to do is look around some of the slot machines.
Yeah,
people are leaving their cards in the machines all the time.
You wouldn't even have to have somebody give it to you. You just go to slot machine and there's some diamond card in there. Oh, good. I'm diamond winning. And the line at the cafeteria.
Yeah, at the buffet, you mean?
At the buffet, right? Or, any of the restaurants or anything.
Sure.
There's usually a diamond line.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, you can't use it at the Diamond Lounge.
No, because they slide your
card.
Right,
and see who you are and stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's hear from the third and final Adam of the show.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Adam from sunny San Diego. I first discovered your podcast about 6 months ago and been working my way through. I promised myself I wouldn't call in until I was caught up live, but I am 10 episodes behind, and after this weekend, I felt like I needed to call in. I went to our local Verona casino, bought in for $400, and using my normal strategy of 66 to 44 inside with a regression after 2 hits, I was quickly down $100 after 3 shooters, including myself. The dice passed to the other side of the stick. The stick man politely reminded me to put down my fire and sharpshooter bets. I did 1 each, and the gentleman proceeded to roll 5 numbers to the fire bet. After hitting several 4s, I had my 4 up to $100. I've never had any bet on the table over $100. He was coming out on his 6th number. All we needed was the 8, and then the 8 came up. I debated whether I wanted to lay the number. As Dr. Mike had said, if it's your first time on the fire bet and you've never hit it, just let it roll. And he did. He rolled a hard 8 to hit the 6-point fire bet. I was stunned. There was only one other gentleman on the table that was on the fire bet as well. At one point during the roll, I looked down to see what the shooter had on the table, and he was only betting the pass line with odds. Never once did he put any place bets out, any come bets out. He was not on the fire bet. There was only 2 of us that made money on it. I proceeded to tip the crew $50 and tip the shooter $25 as well. I was a little surprised when they did pay out the fire bet that there wasn't any W2Gs that we had to fill out. I think my bet was too small, having only $1 on it, but the gentleman next to me had $3 and won $3,000 on it. And they just paid him and no paperwork was filled out. Wondering if that's something common or if there wasn't another limit. Anyway, overall, I colored up for $1,700 and was by far my best win ever. I love your podcast. Hope to hit another fire bet and hope to maybe play with you guys at Verona sometime. Take care.
Good job, David.
This doesn't make sense to me.
No,
right?
They should have filled out paperwork.
W2Gs, because the rule is on a table game, they're supposed to give you a W2G if the wager pays 300 to 1 or more, and you've won more than $600. So that was the case for you, Adam, and for this other gentleman.
You won 1,000, and it pays
right?
1,000 to 1.
So that doesn't make sense to us. It seems like they should have given you W2G. And
I wonder what that's about. If that's just laziness on the pit, like, oh well, 2 people and they didn't have
ignorance,
$5 on it.
Yeah. It seems, unless we're missing something, and it sounds like it's a typical fire bet pay table where the 6 numbers pays 1,000 for one. So it seems like it's wrong.
Yeah, it seems that way. Very strange. Well, it's Verona.
That's right. Yeah, we were just complaining about the crew there. All right, next call.
Hey guys, Julio over from the Bay Area. Just had a quick question. I just got back from Reno. I usually don't bet on the sports games if I'm driving back that same day because I've never mailed back a winning ticket. So I just wanted to know if you guys have any experience mailing it back and seeing how long it actually takes to get your winnings back, like if it's in check form or how that works. Okay, other than that, I heard someone say maybe you guys should come out to Reno. Yeah, it'd be great. There's a lot of casinos out there. It's definitely not Vegas, but it'd be great. And for Dr. Mike, there's unfortunately not a lot of nudity going on in the casinos there. But anyways, have a good day. All right, thanks. Bye.
Yes, we've been told that next year's Gamblepalooza will be in Reno.
Right,
so look for us showing up there. When you mail back a winning sports ticket, was it like a couple weeks?
Yeah, it takes like 2 weeks, and they mail you a check.
Yeah.
Now I have 2 right now at home. In my drawer that I haven't sent them in because I'm probably going in August and definitely going in October.
Yeah, what was it good for, like 6 months?
For a year.
A year. It depends on the book.
Yeah, that says right on the ticket on the back. Mine says, good for 364 days.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay, good. All right, next up is Mark.
Hello, this is Mark from Minneapolis. Love the podcast. The term Jack White that you've been using seems very familiar to me, and then I kind of went back and did some of my poker playing research when we used to call everybody a Jack Wagon because you couldn't swear at the table and use the real words you wanted to use. So I don't know if you want to use both of them, but go right ahead. Otherwise, love the show. Have a great afternoon.
Yeah, I think the key here is Jack. The prefix Jack.
Right.
Put Jack, Jack Station, Jack Clown, Jack Machine, anything like that. It really works,
it works
wonders.
with it. Well, my wife's from Minnesota, and since he's calling from Minnesota, maybe it's a Minnesota thing. Maybe she heard her father say Jack Wagon a lot.
Maybe. I don't know.
But I've heard Jack Wagon out here.
Yeah, I have too. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So it's just Jack in front of anything.
Jack in front of anything. Let's see if we can come up with the best one.
So Jack in the box. And when we're playing, I'll just look at you and say, Jack in the box.
Okay.
And they'll think, we're talking about food, and I'll just be calling that guy a Jack.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
How about just Jack Box?
Jack Box.
See? Hey, look at that Jack Box. Hey, make another bet, Jack Box.
Jack Box. Call me Jack Box.
Okay, I will.
I've eaten enough Jack in the Box. I think that's apropos.
Have you made enough prop bets, Jack Box?
There you go. Thanks, David. Yeah, we got a new term.
All right, let's hear from our craps buddy, Vince.
Hey, Dr. Mike and Mark. This is your old crap buddy from Harrah, Southern California, Vince. A couple of comments really quickly. First, bubble craps. It's purposely rigged, especially at the Harrahs in Southern California, that it won't print out more than, if you go over $1,000, it automatically prints it out. And I guess the reason is because they're trying to avoid the $1,200 that you have to pay taxes on. If you notice on the craps tables, the only ones that are taxed are the fire bets, and it's the same reason. It's the odds that count. Secondly, I want to comment real quickly on the trip I had to Vegas a couple of weeks ago, where I went to the Wynn and Encore. Pretty vanilla tables, no prop bets, 3, 4, 5 odds. Dealers were adequate. However, the players were, I thought, below average in craps intelligence about the game, which is not unusual, but unusual in the fact that everybody I played with didn't know anything about craps. And lastly, some odd things that happened, as you were mentioning in your last podcast. Strangest thing I've seen was when playing at Caesars. A guy walks up to the table while the dice are in the air, throws a $5 chip. The chip hits the dice in midair and goes out. 7 out. Everybody on the table lost, and the one person I did feel bad for had about 10 grand in action out there, and say he was pissed would be an over-exaggeration. Anyway, Enjoy your podcast and hope to see you again real soon. Like I said, I'm not coming there as much as I used to. I'm trying to save as much money as I can, and hopefully we'll see you again next time. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, Vince. So what he's talking about is related to a call we had on our last episode where listener Todd was saying, hey, I play these bubble craps machines all the time in Vegas, and it never spits out tickets early. And I've never gotten a W2G or a hand pay or anything like that. And Todd actually wrote back to us and said that what he does, he plays at the bubble craps machine at the Cosmo. And he says that machine has a $5,000 maximum. We've never seen a machine with a maximum that high.
No, not even close to that.
No,
high.
so he says he's making like $1,200, $1,500 bets and then just cashing out. So I assume the Cosmopolitan is treating this like a table game instead of a machine.
Right.
And maybe that's how they get around the law. Meanwhile, here in Southern California, they're treating it like a machine. Well, because if they treated it like a table game, they wouldn't be able to have it there because table games have to be based on cards in California.
Right.
And so that's why they're spitting those out. So I don't know. There are some gray areas coming because the company that makes Shoot to Win craps has a new craps game, and I think they have it at the link, if I'm not mistaken, where it's this big video screen. It looks like a big regular craps table, and you throw dice.
Oh, really?
On it, but all your bets are made at a terminal. You put your
no
card
chips
in.
or anything.
Right, there are no chips. Now, there is a stick person, to keep the dice moving. But is that a table game or a machine? I mean, to me, it's a table game, but then are the bubble craps machines table games?
Right.
So anyway, I'm offering a lot of possibilities here with no definite answers, and I think it's open to interpretation, and we're not lawyers. But anyway.
Well, my wife saw David, who is a friend of ours out at Harrah's, get a hand pay on the bubble craps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you would on any slot machine. So
Okay.
he must have had a win big enough that they had to hand pay him.
But did they give him a W2G?
Well, she didn't see that.
All right.
She just saw the attendant there paying him.
Okay.
Out of her
that's
out of
interesting.
her thing.
No, so one more confusing
Yeah,
thing.
so that's kind of confusing, but she was actually saw that.
Yeah,
So
all right.
We'll have to ask David about that.
Yeah, okay.
And the IQ of the craps players at Harrah's Southern Cal is way, way higher than you're ever going to find, I think, in any casino.
We've
I've
said
ever
it
been
is a
to.
craps casino. There's no
It
question
is a craps
about it.
casino, and the people that play there play constantly.
Mhm.
I mean, so their IQ is high. And when you're used to that, and then you go to even the Venetian or Wynn or some place that you think is going to have, no, it's not like that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's general people who play once a year or something.
That's true.
So thanks again for the call, David.
All right, next up, it's Melanie.
All right.
Hello. It's Melanie from Colorado, just home from a trip back to Kansas City to see my family. I went to Harrah's in Kansas City briefly, had a little time between things I had to do. Pretty cool. It's pretty smoky there. We have one $5 table, one $10 table, one crapsless craps. This was, maybe 3 p.m. or something. It was pretty full. Had a good crowd. Not a raucous one, but just polite and fun and, not polite, but you know what I mean? Just a good kind of friendly group. Guy went on a heater. He got the all tall, small. No one was on it, including myself. The all tall, small was a minimum $5 bet. I used to like to put 2 on there, and I know on a little roller, what's $3 more, but exciting to watch that. He did go on a heater. I think I went up my buy-in 200, cashed out 350, so that was great. Harrah's in Kansas City. 100 times odds. How about that? So anyway, if you find yourself in Kansas City, it's 20 minutes south of the airport before you get to downtown. It's right almost 2/3 of the way before you get downtown. So it's a fun city if you ever have a reason to go there, or even if you don't, but don't go now, go in the fall. Go to a Chiefs game, especially if they play, I'm going to say it, the Chargers. Hopefully we can beat Crimea Phillip Rivers. All right. I love your show. Super glad that you did it on July 4th. Thanks for not taking the holiday off, and I'll listen for the great stories to come. Love it. Bye.
Thanks, Melanie. Have you been to the Harrah's in Kansas City?
No, my brother's been
Okay, I couldn't remember if you'd been.
Several times. My mother's from Missouri,
Uh-huh.
and she goes back to visit relatives quite a bit. My brother's gone with her several times, and they go to Harrah's.
They like it there?
Yeah, they like it. Yeah.
Good. Oh, good.
So,
okay.
But come on, Kansas City Chiefs. Oh my God, they're my nemesis.
Are they really? What team do you support?
They're in the top 3.
Of what? The teams you hate?
Teams I don't like.
Oh, can I guess the other 2?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, let's just move on. All right.
I support the Los Angeles Chargers.
All right.
And I always will until they're back in San Diego. Did you hear?
Until?
Yeah.
So when they come back, you'll stop supporting them. Is that what you're saying?
That's it. And then I've had it. They've moved too much.
Yeah, okay.
Did you hear there was actually a rumor recently that they were going to come back to San Diego? I don't know who started it, but somebody said, "Oh yeah, the Chargers are thinking about moving back here."
I've heard that ever since they left.
Yeah,
I've heard rumors.
I mean,
like
I
that.
heard this on a radio talk show.
All right,
and there's no
on a radio talk show.
Yeah, there's no truth to that.
All right.
Thanks again, David from Colorado. That was a great call.
All right, let's hear again from Rob.
Hey, this is Rob from New Jersey. My wife and I, we went to Harrah's. We got there, like I said before, we took a nice 3-hour nap.
Nice.
And then went down to dinner at the McCormick and Schmick's. Really good steak seafood, really good old fashioned. And then went out to $10 tables. Didn't win, donated to the casino, but I did this tip system where I did $1 above the minimum, so it's 10, so I put 11. Then I put $1 next to the stack as a tip for the dealer, so that when I hit the pass line, the $1 I got from the extra from the minimum replaces the $1 I tipped the dealer. So basically, after the first win, I was tipping the dealers with the house money, and the dealers seemed really appreciative about that. There was one point where I rolled the dice, and both dice did not hit the back wall. They landed right by the pass line area. And it was the point number. I think it was a 5. It was like a 5-second delay. And then the dealer pointed to me, indicating to the stick that I was the one that was rolling the dice, and they kept the roll as the 0.5 instead of a no roll, which I thought was nice. So hopefully next time you win there, had a great time. Harrah's great. Although my wife loved the hotel room, hardwood floors. She really liked that. It was a nice hotel room. Hey guys, keep the podcast. Big fan. Bye.
All right, another example of how tipping can help you, in ways you might not expect.
Right.
And if I'm understanding
karma.
Yeah, if I'm understanding you correctly, it sounds like he's kind of making the bet on his own bet. So it's not like separate necessarily.
No, he was betting $11.
Right, so that when he wins that, he just tosses the $1 to them, and then it stays out there. It's almost like player control.
Right, it's like a play control bet, which is smart.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good. And another thing David's wife brought up, hardwood floors in the hotel rooms. I wished every hotel room had hardwood floors.
We stayed at Harrah's the first time we went to Atlantic City. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either, but maybe they've changed some of the rooms.
Yeah.
I wished every hotel room everywhere in the world had hardwood floors.
Okay, all right.
They're so much cleaner, seriously.
Well, of course.
And when you go to a hotel room and you're tired and you take your shoes off and you're walking around with your feet, it really isn't the greatest thing on carpet.
Yeah, and it's like, what am I stepping in?
Yeah, what have I been stepping in? What was here before me? So hardwood floors, that's great.
All right.
I'm just going to push that. Hardwood floors, big showers.
All right, I'll give you that.
And showers with good water pressure.
The pressure is more important than anything.
Than the size, yeah. But it's nice when they're big and there's like a lot of pressure.
You can get under you're not too tall that you can get
And you step out onto a nice hardwood floor.
All right. Yeah, hardwood floor, right? It's all warped. And
small things make me happy.
You got that right. Next call.
Hi, this is Jess in Northern California. Just a little trip report. I spent a couple of days up in Reno recently, and it was all right. I played with the same $200 from Friday night, all of Saturday, and Sunday morning. Definitely lost it all, but made that $200 last for some pretty good sessions, so that was a win in my book. There were two interesting types of players that I noticed. One came in, bought in for $5,000 and was just playing the don't come. So the point would be established and then he'd play the don't come. And what was really sad is the table was pretty cold. Everybody playing the pass line, losing our money because they'd 7 out. Well, they would 7 out on that second roll. So even the guy playing the don't come was losing his money too. The house was just winning, winning, winning. The other was a pair of brothers that were playing kind of opposite each other. One would play the pass, one would play the don't pass. They both put on, not full odds, but were playing odds. And then one kid would play the 5, 6, 8, and the other would play the field. So in their mind, they're winning on every number. But really, when it wasn't going so well and we'd 7 out pretty early, they're losing the 5, 6, 8. They're just losing it all. And they ended up going through quite a stack of chips in not too long. And I think they thought they were being very smart, and it was not working out. So anyways, I love the show. Thanks so much for what you do. I'm really getting into it. So Thanks again. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, Jess. Yeah, the Dewey Don't with an iron cross is basically what those brothers were doing. And the dice have to go a certain way for you to really make money on that.
I'll tell you two funny things, David. Just this last week at Harrah, Southern California, I was there one evening. There was obviously a mother and son doing the Dewey Don't. They were on opposite sides of the table.
Like they're trying to pull one over on
Yeah,
them.
and all they're doing is betting 300 on the line. So she would bet 300 on the pass line. And she kept asking people, I don't understand this game, you know. And the guy on the other end, he's betting 300 on the don't pass. And that's all they're doing.
Okay.
So, you know, it's obviously the Dewey Don't, and they're obviously doing it to get comps, right? You know, betting 300 every roll, you're going to get some pretty good comps.
Well, maybe, I guess.
You're going to get some comps.
You're going to get some, but every time aces comes up, and just to be clear, at Harrah's, that's the push on the don't. A lot of places it's 12, but it's 2
And that's
here.
what happened.
Yeah,
That's what happened. They lost money.
Yeah.
No doubt, because aces came up. On my roll, I rolled aces twice. And so he would push his don't come.
Right, and she
would
lose
lose her pass line bet.
Yeah. There's no way they're making $600 in comps.
No. So, I mean, it's a weird system.
Yeah.
But I brought it up, and I said to somebody, one of the dealers, I said, I'm surprised they allow that. A lot of casinos won't.
Some won't. Yeah. They'll
Because,
just
you
take
know,
a hike.
Because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then somebody asked her, do you know him? One of the dealers. And she's like, oh, I know him, but we're not together. And it was so funny because they left the table at the same time. And then they come back walking right next to each other, right by the table. And then I see them in the cafe eating together at the same. So they don't know each other. Oh my God. It was
funny.
it was so silly.
Yeah.
And then the other part of her story was about the guy betting the don't. That might be our buddy from Harrah, Southern California.
Yeah, you know,
who
that's
buys in for 5,000 and he always bets the don't come. So on the come out, he doesn't make a bet.
because he doesn't want to be on the same number as everybody on the table.
Right.
He's hoping for that case where maybe you'll make the point for all the pass line players,
Right.
and then on the come out roll, a 7 will come up and he'll win his don't come.
You're right. The ideal situation for him is you come out on a 5. He makes a don't come. You roll a 6. And then you make your 5.
Right.
He doesn't lose his money. And then you 7 on the come out. He wins, you win.
Yeah.
So then everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And I bet you that's him because I know they go up to Reno a lot.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay. I was
yeah.
going to say, it's not like this unique system. I'm
No.
sure a lot of
but
don't
they
players
go to
do
Reno
it.
a lot. And
Okay.
that may very well have
maybe it
been
was him. Yeah, could have been.
But anyway, David, how would David know?
All right, let's hear once again from Jeff.
Hi, it's Jeff from Los Angeles. I just wanted to get your ideas on, I don't know if you know what happened at the Westgate in Vegas. They do a poker tournament, and they had for their main event a $500,000 guarantee, which means if they don't even get the number of participants to actually, the buy-ins don't reach that number, the casino will put up that number. So there's guaranteed that there's $500,000 in the prize pool. I didn't know this, but I guess in the fine print, they had that they need to get at least 300 players in the tournament. Otherwise, they're not responsible for the guarantee, which to me doesn't mean guarantee. But the buy-in was something like just over $1,600, and they needed about 360 people to make that guarantee and to pay their dealers and stuff like that. Well, on the final day and the final hour where the tournament was going to be locked and there was going to be no buy-ins and nobody could register, they were short. They were about 309 people in the tournament. So they're on the hook to pay the $500,000, but they're nowhere near what they need to put that money in, and they would have been out tens of thousands of dollars. So within the last hour of registration, they announced supposedly over the PA system, hey, half off. Get in this tournament for $800 and some, which to me as a player is really unethical. If I had bought into that earlier, or this was multiple day ones, so people probably bought in multiple times and spending that $1,600, and now somebody's able to get in for $8 something. That really would have made me livid. I think that's really unethical. So in the casino's defense, supposedly they did put in the other half themselves. So the prize pool was right. The payout at the end of the tournament was right. But yeah, I really don't like that. Another thing is somebody said, they should go to the Nevada Gaming Commission, and supposedly the Gaming Commission really doesn't have any rules on casinos' guarantees for poker tournaments. So I wanted to get your thoughts. If you know anything more about these kind of things, that, once again, I think that's really unethical that the Westgate did that. Anyway, great podcast. Take care, guys. Bye.
Okay, so two things here. The whole point of a guarantee is that the casino is saying if we don't get enough money from entries, we're still going to guarantee we're going to give out this much money. That is the whole point of a guarantee.
You would think.
Well, no, that is it. That's what they're saying.
You would think, but see, in Nevada, guarantee isn't the same guarantee.
Well, okay, I don't know what okay, I'm not talking about legally.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when you go to a guarantee tournament, that's what they're saying. They're saying we will make up the difference if we don't get enough money in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just it's a $50,000 term. If they say guarantee, that's the whole point.
Yeah,
and
in this case, there's the fine print that negates the guarantee.
Well, but we have heard stories of casinos just reneging on the guarantee. Oh, we didn't get enough.
Right.
It's like, well, what can you do?
Right.
That'll depend on the law, what state it is, that kind of thing.
You would think there'd be a fair advertising law.
Okay, so
you couldn't even say that, right?
And we don't know what we're talking about, so I don't even know. Now, this other thing where they're offering lower entries at the end, again, I don't know if that's illegal, but it's terrible PR.
Right.
I would be furious.
Yeah, I'd ask for my money back.
It's one thing to say, hey, you'll pay less if you enter early.
Right.
That's fine. But if you've already paid, and then they're saying, oh, now you can get in for cheaper, and you've already had your entry, that's bad.
Right. No, and what if some guy who gets in late for half price wins the thing? You're thinking, great, he didn't even have to pay as much, and he wins. I paid the full amount, went out early.
Yeah.
So it's a terrible thing, and I can't believe there aren't some fair business practice rules.
Well, again, we're not lawyers. We don't know the law in this case, but that's
maybe
bad.
nobody's taken them up on it.
No,
maybe
I don't
nobody's
know.
created that big a fuss. I mean, would it be worth it?
I don't know.
But
Yeah.
if I was a David, I'd probably say something about it.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey, Mike and Mark, this is Chris calling back from Philly. First off, I just wanted to say that, Mark, you do an awesome job editing these calls. I know that when I call, got a lot of likes and ums in the mix there, and you do a killer job of editing them out. So props to you. So the reason I'm calling, I pulled a Dr. Mike today and gambled with some money that I probably shouldn't have. Probably better off set aside for bills and kind of going along the lines of tap the ATM strategy. Decided to head back to the casino after some crappy gambling earlier today and had a great roll. But wanted to thank you guys because when I got to the casino, was gambling at Valley Forge Casino in Philadelphia tonight, I decided to swipe my card before doing any play, and I had $30 match play in there. So that was awesome. Barely ever happens for me. So I put that down on the blackjack table, stacked my $30 on top, and won the hand. So right off the bat, $60 winner at the casino. So was really excited about that. So excited, in fact, that I didn't realize what I think is the way those match play tickets work, which is that you can keep them active for multiple hands until you lose them. Now, please let me know if I'm wrong about that. So what happened was I thought it was just a one-time play. I took my $60 of winnings and the $30 that I had wagered on top of the match play and walked off, leaving the match play ticket there. He didn't really try to stop me or anything, so I'm not sure if that was a mistake or not, but I'm then kicking myself the whole drive home. So thanks, Mike and Mark, for all you do. Have a great week, great night, great month, great July. Bye.
Yeah, when it comes to these match play tickets, it's going to depend on the casino.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds like if they didn't pick it up right away, that it was one that you could leave and play.
That's what I was thinking, Mike, because they would have.
Usually they immediately pick it up
as soon as they pay it, like in one motion.
Yeah, in one motion. So if they didn't pick it up, you probably left it on the table, and they're probably not going to say anything. I mean,
but a good dealer would have. But
would have said, "Hey, you still got money.
You still
here.
have this.
Right? They should have."
Sounds like the case, but in general, it's going to depend from casino to casino.
And we have seen more where they do take it than where they leave it.
I haven't seen match play in a long time. Most of the places we go, it's straight out free play. Right. I haven't played with a match play coupon in some time.
Well, back in the day in Vegas when we did match play, remember they took it more often than not.
All right,
I know at Downtown Grand they do.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes. Okay, I do specifically remember that
because we played that recently, right?
Yeah,
and they did. Another thing, David. Some days, let me rephrase that. Most days, it's good to be Mark when you're gambling. But there are some days when it's better to be Mike.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, there are some. It's
some
usually
days.
better to be Mark. Sometimes it's better to be Mike.
Right. I'll admit to that. It doesn't always work for me, but we're two different people.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
all right, speaking of mics, let's hear from a Mike.
Hey guys, this is Mike in Florida, and I just came back from Vegas and had a couple of observations that wanted to see what you guys made of it. The first is, as a craps player who can consistently play with max odds at the $10 and $15 tables, no problem, I noticed this time that on the strip, 15 is clearly the new 10, at least as it related to the Caesars properties. I could not find a $10 table, and that was in the middle of the week, even in the lesser properties like Flamingo. And at the same time, while at the Cromwell one day, and this is a Tuesday afternoon, the one table they had open was 15. I walked away because it was busy, got a drink, came back, found an open spot, put my $15 on the pass line, and they said, "Oh, no, sir, the minimum's now 25." And this was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, not a particularly busy time in town. There wasn't any events going on. And to my astonishment, even the Venetian had a $10 table that day. So clearly there was nothing major going on that would require all of the casinos to raise limits like that. And I just found that interesting and didn't know if you had noticed that anywhere. And then my second observation, again, at the Caesars properties, at both Caesars and Planet Hollywood, I noticed the more scantily clad dealers are gone and the pleasure pit is gone. And it seems like that's a hell of a coincidence given the national timing of what's happened with the Me Too movement and all that. And I'm just curious if you think there's a tie-in there. Appreciate all you guys do. Very entertaining to listen to each week. Keep up the good work. Thanks.
I can't imagine that there's a tie-in. No.
See, when he said that, I was thinking, I just can't imagine that. I can't think that somebody would have that be objectionable to the pleasure pit.
Well, okay, I'll disagree with you there, and that I'm sure there are plenty of people who would find objection with.
Okay, maybe.
But sex has always been a big part of Vegas,
Right.
And
it's kind of the culture of Vegas.
Sure. And if Caesars were to have done something like this, they would have called attention to it.
Right.
They would have said,
They would have put a release
in
out.
light of the current climate,
Yeah.
here's what we're doing.
Right.
And it would be a kind of a selfish move on. No, I not to be too cynical, but if this really is the case, it's probably money related.
It's more likely it's a business decision to save money because they probably have to pay those dealers more to dress scantily and to dance or, whatever.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, they probably, if a person's dealing blackjack and then dances in between, I'm sure they get paid more.
I would
They're
imagine
doing
that
a lot
they are.
more work.
Yeah.
So it's probably just a business decision and not a social decision.
And what do you think? I'm trying to think the last time we went, we were able to find enough $10 tables at Caesars properties, weren't we? Harrah's, Bally's.
Harrah's, Bally's.
Do you think he's right? You think it's more like 15 is the new 10?
Today, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 all hit record highs.
Okay.
When the economy's going good, and I've told you this before,
Yeah.
they're going to up the limits because they figure people are in better moods and have more money and are more willing to gamble.
Okay.
Now, I'm not talking about gamblers like us. I'm talking about the casual guy who goes to Vegas and now he's not going with 200. He's going with 500.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're just taking advantage of that.
Yeah. All right.
And when the economy goes down,
Then
what
the
happened?
table limits will go down.
Table
again.
limits went down and they had tons of offers.
Okay. Well, that's for sure. We saw that for sure.
And now the offers are going away. Our offers have been cut back dramatically.
Significantly
And
this year.
a 7-star player, a fairly large 7-star player, asked me the other day, have you noticed a big decrease in your free stuff?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. And he's like, oh, thank God. I thought it was just
Yeah.
me.
No, it's across the board.
No,
Yeah.
it's across the board.
Yeah.
Thank you, David, for that great call.
All right. One more call.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Eric from Indianapolis. Calling in just because I had a question I've been thinking about a little bit. Wanted to get y'all's take on it. My wife and I just got back from Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. We're both craps players, and specifically $5 craps table. That's typically where you'll find us playing. We stayed at Golden Gate, and we played a lot of craps there. And at the D, that's kind of where we typically stick to. But sometimes we'll jump to other properties a little bit, and one of those properties that I would always seem to pop in at least once is downtown Grand. And after this past trip, I'm not sure I'll ever play there again. And it really had nothing to do with downtown Grand. I've always enjoyed that casino. I know it's not very busy that often, but I've always enjoyed the casino. I've always had great experience with the cruise there. But I just have the worst luck every time I play there. I just get murdered. Not only do I lose quickly. And it's happened just about every time I've ever gone there, to the point where I don't really even want to go play there anymore. Just wondering if either of you had that type of experience with any property that you tend to avoid, not because of anything they did, but just because you can't seem to win there. As always, I love the show. I've listened to every single episode. I'll be out in Las Vegas in October for the summit. Hope to finally be able to meet you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, hope to meet you there, Eric. I can't think of any casinos that we've gone out of our way to avoid.
But I can think of one that I'm probably never going back to.
Oh, okay, go
because
ahead.
I don't win.
Okay.
Hamul Casino here in San
really?
Diego.
Really?
Yes. I mean, previously Hollywood, but now called Hamul. I have not had good luck playing craps there.
Okay.
And, they send me tons of stuff, tons of flyers. Their giveaways are kind of junky.
Mm-hmm.
They do give me a fair amount of money. I mean, free play money. But Mark, I have never won.
Oh, I didn't realize you were on such a losing streak there. Well, you go out there sometimes without me. So.
Right. I've had some good luck with their free play money. But when I played just craps there, it has never really gone super well. I think one time I had one really good win.
And a lot of times when you get the free play, you just go play blackjack, right?
I just go play it on blackjack and I hit, I double my money and I leave. But the craps there has not went well. And I was thinking to myself the other day, I got their flyer in the mail. Maybe I should give them another try. No, I don't win there.
Okay, interesting.
Now, why is that? I don't know.
Yeah, of course, it's just dumb luck.
Dumb
right?
luck, right.
I thought you were going to say, and this happened for years, when it first opened and for years afterwards, we could not win at Bellagio.
Yes, we had
all.
Yeah,
but we continued to go there because we kind of liked it. We liked the atmosphere.
It's like he was saying about downtown Grand. I like the atmosphere there and everything, but we've never had great luck there.
Yeah.
And we had that at Bellagio, and then we did hit some wins.
Finally, eventually
wins.
it came around. Yeah.
Thanks again for your call, David, and we will see you at the summit.
Yeah, I hope so. So we are recording this episode early because I'm going to Comic-Con this weekend. In fact, when this episode drops, I'm going to be right in the middle of it. So as we're recording this, the World Series of Poker final table is still going on. I think they're down to 5 players right now.
Yeah.
So we don't know who ultimately wins when the episode posts. But so that's why we aren't talking about it at this point. We're doing a little early. So anyway, good luck at the casino this weekend. Mike, I will not be joining you.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to go.
Oh, okay.
Because we've got company.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, of course.
And my mother-in-law is going to be here visiting too. So yeah, I probably won't go. We may have to take a week off, Mark.
Wow, that's going to be rough.
We'll probably break out in hives, but I've stocked up on Benadryl, and I'm ready. I'm ready for that.
All right, good. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, recurring donations from Kurt and from Nathan. Thank you very much from that. Also, a donation from Chaz Gator. Karma donation for an upcoming trip to celebrate my beautiful wife Karen's 50th birthday on July 14th. Oh, so that's already gone by. Happy birthday to Karen. Keep up the great work, fellas. I love your show and look forward to each and every episode. Also, a donation from Eric. Karma donation for an upcoming Win Slots Free Nights Vegas trip on July 21st. Oh, very good. Yeah, that's that app that you can play on, kind of like My Vegas. Yeah. Also, a donation from Mark in Florida. Thank you for lots of great entertainment and very useful casino information. Soon taking my 21st annual Vegas golf and gambling trip with my brother. We both listen to the show and enjoy it very much. Oh, so play a lot of blackjack, Mark. Your 21st trip.
21st
That's
trip.
what I did on my 21st
That's all
trip.
you did on your 21st
I made a big
trip.
deal of it. And finally, a donation from our buddy Keggers. Karma donation for an upcoming Vegas trip. Having played only California card craps for the last few months, playing non-card craps will be a tough transition. I hope I'll figure out how to play that weird way. Please send your thoughts and prayers.
I'll tell you, David, after about 2 rolls, you'll be all right.
Yeah, it takes a couple. But
it takes a couple rolls,
yeah.
David, but then it gets better.
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at You Can Bet On That and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. This is the point of the show where I throw it over to Dr. Mike.
Well, I liked that one caller named David complimented you, and he was spreading the love.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah.
That was I like to hear that.
Yeah.
That made me happy. And just a quick shout out to my Aunt Kay. She should call the show.
Oh, she listens to the show?
She listens
Good.
to the show all the time, and she's always afraid to call. So she should call.
I'll make you sound good, Kay.
Yeah, no matter what, Mark makes everybody sound good. He puts a ton of work into that, even me. And
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to do much for me.
Oh, my God. You should hear what I have to edit.
So good luck at Comic-Con.
Thank you.
Yep. I hope everything goes well.
Yep.
And we'll see everyone at the casino in 2 weeks. So
Sounds good.
All of the listeners that go to the casino, that's why you won't see us.
This week. That's right.
At least Mark.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.